G'day. In this video, I'll be trying to ferment this Lactobasillus. This one in particular is Lactobasillus Plantarum. The reason for that is I'll be making some kombucha or something like that. So we've got our Lactobasillus Plantarum, we've got our glass jug there. Now I have actually disinfected this one already. I've done a few, but that's what I'll be using. Also some bicarb soda, some glucose syrup, and as our form of salt, and also a little bit of Epsom salt. And this is called niacinamide, and niacinamide is a substitute for all the vitamin B complexes, and it's a clear sort of powder. The reason we're using a bit of bicarb soda, the bicarb soda will actually stabilise the pH. On its own, if we leave our bugs to their own devices, the water will increase in acidity to about 4 to 5. I've done it before to about 4.5, and then it just stops growing. So to keep it growing, we use a little bit of bicarb soda, and we test it once a week or once a month and adjust accordingly. And that's the way we do it. And also we need some clean water, which I have got some distilled water and boiled it to make sure it's right. So we'll be using that. Okay, so first off, we're going to make our base. I'm just going to add some water in there. We're going to add our ingredients one by one. So the Epsom salt will give it the magnesium that it needs, and I've just got a quarter, not even a quarter, an eighth of a teaspoon. That can go in there. That's all they'll need for this 2-litre container. Now the glucose is a ready for use food for bacteria. They don't have to break down the sugars, it's already broken down. So we're just going to use maybe half a teaspoon, and that'll be plenty. That is quite a lot actually. So I'll just stir that in. Next is the baking soda, bicarb soda. Just once again, a very small amount of that to start with, and that'll just help at the beginning. And now is our vitamin B substitute, which is the niacinamide. Undo that, pour it in, that's it. We're not using the capsule at all. Just gonna stir that in. Now we're ready to add our capsule. That's our capsule here. Of our bacteria, and that'll be ready to go. So I'm just going to now put this in here. Once again, just open the capsule, not use the outside of the capsule. And the bacteria is now in. I'll give that a stir. And so this is now our crystal clear growing medium for our Lactobasillus Plantarum. And all that remains is to put our breather on top and put it in a dark place. First of all, I'll cut a hole in the top. I'll just put that little hole in the top there, enough to fit our little breather. The reason for this is this will make CO2, and we don't want oxygen to come in. It doesn't like oxygen. So we're going to add some water here. It's called a water trap. And the CO2 under pressure will come out of the bubbler, and air will not be able to go back in. And so now this needs to go into a dark place at a temperature of about 36 to 37 degrees Celsius for the next few days. And that's about it. And there it is, all ready to go. So let's take it over to the shed and whack it in our homemade incubator. And here's the one I did the other day, which really overdid it with the vitamin B and everything. But that actually tastes like ginger beer now. That's basically kombucha. Can you hear that? You can't see it, but it's fizzy as, and it tastes great too. Don't want to be drinking too much of that Epsom salt, I wouldn't think. But anyway, that is ready, and I'll just show you how much it grew. Look at that, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 capsules. So I've made 5 times the amount that I put in, and that's been a week. The pH of that, I'll show you, is about 4.5. In the meantime, I better make some room in there. This one's beautiful. This actually is aurum potable. Let's see if you can see the gold. You can't really see it. Maybe you can see it. Anyway, it's on the bottom there. Beautiful. I'll just grab that now. It's got to go in and out of the light. Just move it around. There we go, all covered up so that no light gets in. Also, I've got it on a one of these Inkbird heat pads, so it's ready to go for a week or so. Oops, I fizzed it up a bit. Hang on. There we go, see all the bubbles coming up. Anyway, you might say, well, Pete, what are you going to do with this stuff other than drink it? Or you can put it on the garden, I guess. It'll help the veggies grow. But today, I'm just going to show you a basic experiment that I think might have merit into the future as a disposable battery. Okay, so I'll just do a pH test. Okay, just dip it in. All right, so that has a pH of roughly 4.5, and I know that because I tested it already. But anyway, 4.5, so it's quite acidic. So for a battery, it's probably a little bit too acidic. I'd probably have to add some, you can see how's the bubbles, some bicarb soda in there just to balance it a bit. And just for your reference, what I will do down the track is I'll mix it with this Zinc Bromine Solution. But first, what I would do is boil that, and not boil it, cook it at 90 degrees Celsius so that the bacteria lysate or perform lysis, that is, they die and their guts come out. And what would happen in this situation is, in conjunction with the bromine, as a battery intermediate, all the lipids and all the internals and everything like that within the bacteria will actually coat the anode and cathode, and it will prefer the high points and not the low points, and therefore it will be theoretically a really good dendrite inhibitor, really good, and also make for a really smooth electroplating surface. So really good for the electroplating industry and really good for zinc bromine batteries or zinc iodine or whatever you're making. So that's the theory. However, today we're just going to see if it will be a good electrolyte solution for a basic zinc carbon battery. Righto peeps, here are my anode and cathode. I'm going to chuck them in the drink and we'll see if we can read any voltage to start with. And indeed we can. We have 1.27 volts. Okay, let's chuck a joule feed. I think this still works. We'll give it a go and see if it works. Well, my joule feed died. That wasn't working. I tested it. I have to use a different method. Well, not much. Not much, unfortunately. That's disappointing. Not even 10 milliamps. Okay, I got it on the 20 milliamp scale on my multimeter. And we've got, let's say, 1,000. Probably not. Milliamps, let's check that. We got saying, well, it's saying 120 milliamps. Well, maybe that does have something in there. Yeah, maybe that other meter's no good either. It's a bit like yours truly, getting old and useless. Anyway, I hope you found that interesting. Yeah, look at that. Who knew? Okay, so it is a winner. Anyway, have a crack at that and let me know what you think. Cheers, I'll catch you next time. Bye now. Well, I did give it a bit of a tickle with the DC regulator at 3 volts, and it's showing 1.7 volts. That's amazing. And this is a new multimeter too, so I believe it. Anyway, the only way you're going to know for sure is if you have a crack at it yourself. Once again, thanks for watching. Catch you later, and I'll see you on the next one. Sure as heck did a good job of cleaning off that zinc anode. It really cleaned it up surprisingly well, probably because of that lactic acid that's in there, but yeah, even that's got potential in certain industries. I thought you'd find that interesting. Anyway, you can drink it, you can put it on your garden or your paddock, you can use it as a bacterial electrolyte, or you can clean metal with it for electrolysis. You can use it as an electrolysis medium. Biodegradable. Wow, it's pretty good. I encourage you to give it a go and let me know what you thought. Thank you. See ya.